Good evening and welcome back to the channel. I wanted to say hey to everybody because it's actually been quite some time since I've done a video. And this evening I watched Ali Big Toe's video and it inspired me to go ahead and do one. I've actually been thinking about doing a video for about 2 weeks, but I was like, you know what? I've got some stuff to say and I wanted to share it with you guys. But first, I want to say that I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is taking care of themselves, taking the precautions to protect themselves from getting a virus. For anyone that has lost a family member, a loved one to this, I want to say I am so sorry for your loss, and in time I hope you'll be able to heal from it. Now, before I even start going into the meat of the video, I want to say that I do know that there is a sickness out there. Now, whether how bad it is or how not so bad it is, that's up for debate and opinions. And so the reason I wanted to do this video is because I have found myself here in the past week, trying to defend myself. And like Ali said in her video, it's really hard to defend yourself or express yourself just by typing. You know, there's no tone, you don't hear the inflection, you don't see the body language. And so I wanted to come on here tonight and just kind of tell you how I felt about things. Now, for those that know me, they know that I grew up in the organization. I grew up as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And I was in that organization for 40 years. And throughout my time in the organization, there was a lot of questions that I had that, as we all know, you don't ask questions in Watchtower. You know, that's against the rules. You don't do that. You just listen to what they say. And that's what people do. They just listen to what they say and they go along with it. And it just got to a point to where I was like, you know what? I need to start looking into these questions that I have. Well, in December of 2018, the looking began. And that's when I spent 3 weeks watching literally over 1,000 videos by the XJW activists that had put videos out. Thank you guys for that. Because during those 3 weeks, I woke up from the indoctrination of the Jehovah's Witnesses. I went through a range of emotions. I was angry. I was sad. I was hurt. I felt like you do when someone dies. There was just a loss there. And it really had a huge effect on me. And for me, I didn't have anyone to really talk to. I didn't have anybody to express this new information that I was finding. And so I reached out to a couple of folks, you know, through Facebook, and was able to talk to them, and they helped me out. But as time went on, as I started to wake up and figure out what was going on with Watchtower, I ended up getting involved in a Facebook group and wanted to have something that people could come to and feel safe, feel heard, feel like they could express themselves and try to get over the hurt of leaving Watchtower and realizing the bad effects that Watchtower had on their lives. So right now, I have a Facebook group called Toppling the Tower Globally. And my mission there for that group is to provide a safe place for XJWs or the ones thinking about leaving to come. Find some information, ask your questions, have a place to where people can feel free to express themselves so they can get feedback from others and gain an appreciation and a friendship for one another. And that mission that I have there has never changed. No, nor will it ever change. I love the group. I love being there for the folks when they've had a bad day. I love laughing with them when they've had a good day. We have some characters on that group, and I love each and every one of them. So for those that see the things that I put on my Facebook page, I want you guys to understand that my goal with Toppling the Tower has never changed. And there's a couple of things that we don't do there. We don't talk about political stuff and what's going on in the world too much on that page. And I make sure we don't. And the reason why is because there's new people that are coming out of the organization and they are finding our page. And if we were to start talking about political stuff and stuff that they're not ready for yet, then that's going to scare them back to Watchtower. So that's why on our group, we don't discuss anything political. Because when you're waking up from Watchtower, you've already have a sense of loss. You already have a sense of that you don't fit in somewhere, and you're wondering, oh God, was my life a freaking joke? Did I just live a big lie? And that has a mad effect on people, and I don't want them to feel that way when they come into our Facebook group. So we do keep it off of there. Now, that said, when it comes to my Facebook page, I do everything I can to show respect to others. You will never hear me cuss somebody out or call them names or, tell them they're an idiot for something. I will never do that to anybody on my Facebook page, ever. Now, if somebody becomes disrespectful or they're just, losing it, then we might have to rethink that friendship. I have the right to be able to do that. It's not that I'm censoring anybody, or it's just maybe I just don't want to deal with you. Seriously, sorry. But I don't want that to ever happen. I love everybody who has chosen to be a Facebook friend with me, so I try to keep things cool. I'm not a mean person. I'm not somebody that's going to disparage you because you have a different opinion. I love different opinions, and it helps you grow when you can have a healthy debate. So for those that have seen my Facebook page here lately, they know that I believe in that there's something else really going on. And I had said this before. Actually, I said it before Allie put it on her video tonight. So anyway, it's the comparison between some of us XJWs who have gotten past the lies of Watchtower. We've moved on. We're fully awake of Watchtower. And now, oh my goodness, there's something else going on that we have to wake up from. That's how I feel. And because of that, some have tried to say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Okay, well, and this is what I'm getting ready to say is debatable, but if you look back on the word conspiracy theorist, when did it happen? When was it coined? The CIA in the 50s or 60s, they decided to coin this term to demonize those that were trying to look into things that the government was doing. They basically wanted to make other people look at the conspiracy theorist as crazy, as they don't know what they're talking about. And that is the same exact thing that Watchtower does with the word apostate. They call us that leave apostates. Why? So the rank and file will look at us as like we're mentally diseased, or that we're angry, or that what we have to say is not valid. When you call somebody a conspiracy theorist, you're doing the same thing Watchtower does with the word apostate. That's my opinion. That's just how I feel about that. So I've had to explain why I've gone down the road I've gone down. And I always ask questions. Questions are constantly running through my head. So one of the things I thought about right at the beginning of March was, why in the world are they talking about shutting all the borders down throughout the world for a virus? That was the question that I had that started me doing the research. Now, I'm not going to go into everything that I do believe, but I do believe that there's something bigger going on, and a lot of people don't want to... They don't want to see it, I guess. or they brush it off as conspiracy theory, or they brush it off as that we're just being crazy. Now, for those that know me, I have not talked political stuff, and up until about a month ago. And so some say, oh, you're just a huge Trump supporter. You know what? It's not about Trump. This is not political. What's going on is not a Democrat versus a Republican thing. This is a thing going on between the elites of the world and the rest of the human population. If you look it up, there's so much trafficking going on. Drugs, things that are being used to desensitize us, to make us fall in line with the way they want to run things. And I don't agree with that. And I know a lot of people say, oh, Jimmy, they're just trying to keep everybody safe. Okay, well, that's all fine and well. But when you start taking away people's civil liberties that are given to them in the Constitution, that's when you're being tyrannical. And the Constitution is not suspended during a pandemic. So what I'm speaking out against is the control that some of these people are trying to exhibit to force upon the people. It reminds me of Watchtower. And I just don't think it's right. So I'm going to speak out about it, because I feel like I had somebody tell me the other day, oh, Jimmy, you're not going to, it wasn't meant for you to save the world. Well, you know what? If I could save one or two people and help them see what else is going on, so be it. All I've ever tried to do is help folks. I'm not here to upset anybody or piss anybody off. But like I said, I really do believe that there's bigger stuff going on, and I really think that Watchtower is tied to a lot of this. You know, I put up a meme the other day that said 1% of the people control the world, 4% are sellout puppets, 5% are woke, 90% are asleep. And it said that the 1% doesn't want the 5% waking up the 90. Well, when it comes to Watchtower, I put them in the 4% of sellout puppets. And when that CEO that I got on video said, oh, we're still involved with the UN. Really? You really must be. You're involved more than just with the UN, Watchtower. And you got to look at it too. How does Watchtower get away with hiding their pedophilia for so long? How can they have a database that has 23,000 names on it? How can that not be made public? Why are they keeping it secret? So I really think Watchtower has people covering for them. And with the research I'm doing on the geopolitical side and everything, I'm starting to make some connections. So if you see any connections between what the elites of the world want and what Watchtower does, please share them with me. I would love to put it together and make a video. So I've rambled long enough, but I just wanted to clear the air and just say that I'm not here to fight with anyone. I'm not here to make anyone feel bad. I respect other people's opinions. And that's the beauty about not being in Watchtower anymore. In Watchtower, everybody had to think the same way, look the same way, act the same way. We're not in Watchtower anymore. And I really think in the XJW community, that is one of the last remnants of the brainwashing that's the hardest to get rid of. The part where we were always taught that we were right. Once you leave that organization, you realize that there is a bigger world out there. And we're not always going to be right. And it's okay if people have different opinions about things. You know, when it comes down to it, we're all human. Why can't we treat each other with respect, with love, with humanity? Why all the fussing and the fighting and the bickering? Just respect people. So, Anyway, as far as future plans, I do want to get back on track of making videos that expose Watchtower. Um, I do want to do that. It's just I got to get my mind space right for me to start doing that. I really would like to start with a video about Deep State and Watchtower and the connections between the two, because I think what I'm learning, and there's others that I think are way ahead of me on learning this stuff. I'm just catching up, but I think they have some ideas as well to show that Watchtower is connected to a bigger organization that is controlling them. Prove me wrong, Watchtower. Prove me wrong. So, all right. Well, if you've lasted this 15 minutes, I really do appreciate it. If you like the video, hit like, hit subscribe. If you didn't like the video and you decide, oh, well, I'm not listening to Jimmy anymore, that's fine. That's your choice. But I do love everyone, and let's just be nice to one another. I love you guys.